Welcome to Dayton, Ohio, where Oscar the Grouch is alive and well. Let's get into it. Before we go further, I should say that I am qualified to make this story come to life because I have been arrested several times, and I can say without question that 20 years ago, I would have been tempted to run, but I knew to sit my happy butt down and just wait for the handcuffs. If you would like to avoid those handcuffs, please like, share, and subscribe on the way in. Let's get into exactly what you should do if the police have the red and blue behind you. So I have been a husband, father, and therapist for more than a decade, and I have been sober for nearly 20 years. But before that time, I was getting arrested at least once a year, if not a little bit more than that, but certainly pulled over or harangued by police a little bit more often. And we should watch the tape of the gentleman who is attempting to be pulled over in Huber Heights, Ohio, which is about 25 minutes from where I'm sitting right now, and what he does with his opportunity to try to get away.
Watch this. Police say the search for a suspect took a very bizarre turn when a Rumpke worker found the man hiding in a trash can. The moment captured on dash camera video from a Huber Heights police cruiser. You can see just how startled the Rumpke worker was. News Center 7's Taylor Robertson joins us live from the Wayne Meadows apartment complex.
So Gabby Enright, which is our local news anchor here in long service to Channel 7, tells us the story about how he was attempted to be pulled over by police, and at that point he ran into his apartment first, and then he sought to run into the trash can after he left out the back door. That's at the point where the trash man sees him and points him out to police, which apparently the police cruiser was parked right near the trash can where he tried to get in. Now I can just imagine those hellacious moments, because I've been this paranoid before, those hellacious moments when he is laying in the trash can, breathing heavy, trying to hold his breath, listening to the police shut their car door, maybe walk around a little bit, and I can only imagine what he thought when the trash truck pulled up alongside. He had to have been thinking, holy smokes, this guy is about to try to empty this trash can, and I cannot imagine the type of panic that set in. Watch the second half of the story to find out what happened to him.
Gabby, officers were trying to pull him over for a traffic violation, but he didn't stop. He then pulled into one of these driveways and ran into his apartment. He then ran out the back of his apartment, jumped into one of these trash cans. Huber police tell me this started just before 1 o'clock Monday afternoon. They say 27-year-old Jonathan McMillan fled.
So I have a little bit of the data on foot pursuits and how oftentimes people actually get away from the police when they are attempting to do it on foot. Now, according to most bureaus that reported, about 10 to 30% of people get away, but it's most of the time a temporary getaway, so very few of them actually get away permanently. And this gentleman probably would have struggled more than most because the pursuit began in his vehicle, so they would have known who it was. I think they actually knew where he lived, so ultimately his chances of getting away were probably very low. And actually he was only leaving from a warrant that seemed like a administrative type warrant, so maybe he has a lot of time on the shelf, but it didn't seem like it. And so the adrenaline just kicks in. And as a psychologist and therapist, I can say that we must, as men, be good at attempting to stamp out that impulse control or that impulsive reaction that happens when we first see police, when we first encounter people who might be aggressive with us, or when our family, there's a perception of a threat to our family, like you hear a bump in the night. We need to remain calm in those instances because then we'll be much more successful at whatever happens next. And if you can keep your heart rate low, if you can use grounding techniques to remain observant and to not just go with the quickest heuristic that's trying to point us in a certain direction, we will have much better outcomes. And it's not just when we're encountering police, but also so many other stimulus or triggers in our life that might cause that fight or flight response to start.
Happened to park his cruiser just feet from the can. His cruiser cam captured McMillan climb out and take off. You see the officer run after him. Police tell me he made it several apartments down before officers caught up to him and arrested him. McMillan was taken to Montgomery County Jail for a Miami County warrant, obstructing official business, and resisting arrest. Officers gave him a warning for the traffic violation that started the chase. In the police report, it says McMillan admitted that he should not have ran. His first court date is set for tomorrow afternoon. We're live in Huber Heights. Taylor Robertson, News Center 7.
According to the statistic I found, about 20 to 40% of people who start a vehicle, attempt to get away in a vehicle from police, get away temporarily. But again, they have your license plate number. So I can imagine that if I were this gentleman, it could have very well been that he was in possession of something that he did not want to get caught with. And so by going into his apartment, then at that point it could have been seen as not necessarily being in his possession at the time that he was pulled over, which can be to your advantage. So maybe he had a master plan and he's playing 4D chess, or maybe he just got nervous. He decided his apartment wasn't the place to hide and he ended up running away. Either way, every time that I was interacting with the police, I was angry and I was upset when I was cuffed, but ultimately I did just go along to get along, and I usually did not try to run away in any way. I would have tried to be aggressive, I would have tried to get out of it, I would have tried to talk my way through it, but all of those things failed in 100% of cases. I believe I've been actually cuffed 3 or 4 times. This was over 20 years ago. However, in 0% of those times was I actually able to get out of it. So if and when you find yourself in Huber Heights, Ohio, and you get pulled over, the best course of action might be to just go with it. And if you would like to just go with it in every case other than when the culture is getting flushed down the toilet, I would love your support. This channel exists to try to present a future of faith, fatherhood, and freedom, one that my 4 children deserve. If you can get behind that, please like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you later.